reuniting people and money that belongs to them and that they should have, but without you or me helping them, they're never going to get that money. Now, I may be familiar to you. You may have seen me on NBC or CBS or heard me on National Public Radio or maybe on Fox or seen me on Flip This House television program or on MSNBC. Those major media outlets consult with me as a real estate and business expert, teaching people like you, ordinary, regular people, how to make money today in today's economy. And as we know, things have changed drastically over the past couple of years. And it's a challenge for some people to make it in today's economy, and there are lots of challenges, but we found an amazing way where you can make a lot of money and you can do a lot of good. You can make big finder's fee reuniting people and the money that belongs to them. And that's what you're here to learn about. Now, we have a special name for the system internally. We call it the Robin Hood system. Just as Robin Hood used to rob from the rich and give to the poor, in this system, what we're doing is we're going and taking money from the government that belongs to people that are absolutely been kicked by life, but they're never going to get that money without your help or my help, and we get that money back to them. So you and I are going to be like Robin Hood. And if you ever dreamed about being able to be someone's hero and be a Robin Hood that helps out people who otherwise are just going to stay down and out and not getting what belongs to them, well, you're going to absolutely love this. And the best part about this is that in addition to helping these worthy people, and people that, as you see this presentation, are just going to shock you how much they really need your help and should be helped. But in addition to that, you're going to make a lot of money. The income potential in this business is absolutely incredible. Now, by way of disclaimer, I can't give you a guarantee how much or how little money you'll make, because I don't know. It depends on how much effort you put into this and whether you learn the system and apply it or whether you leave it on your shelf. Because I'll tell you, if you decide to leave it on your shelf, then between you and me, nothing's going to happen if you just leave it on your shelf. But I promise you, if you take the system and apply it, you can go to the moon. You can do as much as you want. And you'll see as we go along how much potential there really is to this. It's absolutely amazing. It's a $5 billion market altogether with almost no one doing this. So it's pretty amazing. So hold on to your seat and hold on to your hat, because we're going to go on an amazing ride. And at the end of this, you're going to be so thrilled and excited that you're just going to say, how do I get involved with this? That's how excited you'll be. It's just absolutely thrilling. And I promise you, going to be amazing. So if you have any distractions, if you're on Facebook or if you're on Twitter or you're reading on your iPad or your kids are running around, cut off those distractions. Close the door to your office, put down the iPad, shut off Facebook and Twitter, and don't do email for the next 90 minutes, because I can promise you that this is 90 minutes that can change your life. It can open a doorway to an entire new way for you to make money, an entire new way for you to do something, even on the side to start with, that can change your life just incredibly. The other day I was in my office, and we have a couple of offices, and I was in particular in our Philadelphia office, and my assistant, Christine, who some of you know, if you've been involved with our office before, you know Christine. So Christine came to me and said, Bob, I wanted to tell you something. And she looked almost a little bit sheepish, and I said, what? And she said, I took the training for the Hooked on Overages program. I said, that's great. And she said, I want to tell you, we got our first one. And I said, really? What happened? Tell me about it. And she said, well, my friend and I decided to try the business out. She said, obviously it doesn't take a lot of time. We could easily do it part-time. So we decided to give it a try. So she and I got a list, just like you teach us, and we contacted a couple of people. And so one of the people said, yes, I'd love to work with you. And I said, great, what happened next? She said, it's a $33,000 overage, and we're going to get $14,000 out of that. And she said, I just got all the paperwork back, and we should have a check in a week or two. And I was just so happy for her. I actually gave her a hug. I said, I'm so excited for you. Christine's an awesome woman. She's a single mom. She's made it on her own. She's really a great asset to our company, and we love her to death. And here she was, just kind of on the side, almost sheepishly, using our system and just making it. Can you imagine if you got this and you did the training, which is like 3 or 4 hours worth of training, and then a couple weeks later you have your first one, $33,000, and your share of that's going to be $14,000? Well, I promise you that if you take this course seriously, you get involved, and you act, then you can get overages too. Now, I don't know whether your overages are going to be a $3,000 one or a $300,000 one or somewhere in between. But I can promise you, again, if you'll put in the effort, if you'll take this seriously, then you can go as far as you want to go with this. So you're absolutely going to love it. So take good notes, and let's go off on a ride where I tell you about this amazing system. Now, I've seen a lot in my 24 years as an investor and my 18 years as an attorney in the realm of business and real estate, but I've never seen anything as simple, as profitable, and as big as this overages opportunity. And best of all, anyone can take advantage of it. And that means you can take advantage of it because there's nothing there to stop you. Everybody who's on this call can take advantage. So I promise you that, and you'll see as we go along how that works. So I have a question for you. Did you know that when properties are sold at tax foreclosure auctions, and by tax foreclosure, what I mean is real estate taxes, if you haven't paid your real estate taxes. Well, money that is left over after the taxes are paid out of the proceeds of auction, well, that money belongs to the former owner. But here's the catch. The former owner has to know that there is money, and they have to ask for it. If they don't know the money is there and they don't ask for it, then they just don't get the money. Now here's the problem. These owners have no idea that the money is out there for them. They don't know how to ask for it, so they never ask for it. They don't know the money is there, so they never get the money that they deserve. And here's the injustice of this whole thing. These folks have lost their home, and now they've lost the cash generated from the sale of their home. And that's awful. And the government doesn't help. When the money is unclaimed, the government keeps it, and that's forever they keep it. And the governments today, they're hungry for money. And this money is the kind of money that the government really loves. It's hidden under the carpet. There are no taxes to raise, no constituents that get angry because their taxes were raised and don't want to vote for the incumbents or anything like that. Instead, this money sits in government holding accounts. And if no one comes and claims it in time, then that money is just quietly slid over into the government operating account, and it can never be claimed ever again. And I'll just give you an example. So one large metropolitan city right now is $32 million sitting in their overages account. Now, in that particular county, there's a 3-year holding period when you are able to make a claim on the money. If you don't make a claim within 3 years, then the money escheats to the government. And escheatment is the legal name for what happens. Escheatment is a funny kind of word. As lawyers, we look at word roots to see what the base meaning of the word is, and in the base of escheatment is the word cheat, C-H-E-A-T, cheat. And I think it's funny that this money that doesn't belong to the government that they keep if you don't come and ask for it in time is cheating the people. It's terrible. So in this one county where there's $32 million sitting there, it's a 3-year escheatment period, so 36 months. So essentially, they're going to collect $32 million over the next 36 months, which is approximately $1 million a month. And that $1 million a month very quietly slides from the holding account into the government's operating account, and it's gone forever. And that was just wrong. I mean, $32 million, but now you know why the government just sits on its hands and keeps quiet. They don't go and try and find people. They don't reach out to them. Instead, if they don't do anything, then that money just slides quietly into the government bank account. And one of the things that's so bad about that is think about the people that are losing the money. These are folks that lost their property, most likely their house, because they couldn't afford to pay the taxes. So these are really like the poorest of the poor. And now the government's going to keep the money generated from that sale over and above the taxes. Now, just to be clear, they do take the tax money off the top. So if you owed $10,000 in real estate taxes, they're going to take that first. But then the money that's left over and above that belongs to the former owner because it was their house that was sold. Yet if that former owner doesn't know the money was there, then they don't get it. And I'll explain to you as we go along why they don't know the money is there, but it's pretty incredible. So the government does what makes sense. They keep quiet, and if you ask for the money, you get it. Otherwise, that money is lost forever. And literally, there are hundreds of millions of dollars all over the United States waiting to be claimed. And that money comes from tax foreclosures that are completed every business day. And there are a little over 3,000 tax foreclosures completed every business day. And according to JP Morgan Chase, the big bank, they did a study and they said that the total sales is a little over $5 billion a year. That's a lot of money, $5 billion. It's billion with a B. A lot of that money is overage money. So that's the money that's available to be collected, that overage money. Now the question you might have is, well, I agree, Bob, this is really wrong. It's wrong that these poorest of the poor are having their houses sold out right out from under them. They're being kicked out of their own homes, and they don't get the money if they don't know about it. But lots of bad things happen in the world. Why should we care about this particular thing? Well, here's why. Very simple. You can get paid a finder's fee of between 30 and 40% of the money that's due to you for helping connect people with that unclaimed money. Simple. So you can get paid that finder's fee. Can you imagine 30 to 40% of a market of $5 billion total money that's available? Now, again, all of that is not overages, but certainly a lot of it is overages. And you can be lined up for 30 or 40% of that. And what I'm here to show you is a business system that gets you those finder's fees. Right now, there are hundreds of millions of dollars in overages available right now sitting in government holding accounts, just waiting to be either escheated to the government or to be given to the people that it belongs to. So imagine the potential referral fees that you could get and the help that you could give. And what could be better than that? You can make 30 or 40% of the money that's sitting out there, millions and millions and millions of dollars, and you could be helping people who have lost their property to the tax man, and they're going to lose all the funds generated from that property unless you intervene. And it's pretty simple with some help. You're going to need to know how to get the lists. These lists are not on the internet, but I'll show you how to get them with a stamp or an email. You need to know the laws around unclaimed property. I know those laws, I've researched them, I'll teach you those laws. And finally, you need legal and business agreements and forms. I've drafted those for you. In our office, we've been doing this business for 8 years in total. Everything that can happen has happened 3 times to us. So we have the legal and business agreements and forms that you need, and I've drafted those for you. And when you get involved, you're going to get your own copy to use of these business agreements and forms so that you can use them in your overages business. And I love most of all, this is within your reach, I promise. Because you don't need money to invest. We're not buying the overages. We don't have to finance anything. Instead, we're just working with people that are owed money. We go and get them their money, and then we take a portion for doing that work. You never need a loan or any credit because, again, you're not paying for anything. What are you paying for? A stamp to get the list, that kind of thing. It's very, very, very minor. So you don't need a loan. You don't need a credit. You really just need to be given the tools. I need to show you how to find the lists. I need to show you how to approach the people, how to talk to them so they understand what's going on and they trust you, and how to get the money. Pretty simple. So this is within your reach. If you have a little bit of desire, if you're willing to make some effort in this and learn a pretty simple system, then this is something that you can do, and you're absolutely going to love it. It's powerful, it's money-making, and it's doing great good for people who really are deserving. You're going to quickly generate enormous profits helping people who've lost everything, and you don't need capital. You never have to close on a property. You never have to rehab a property or rent it out. So to me, it's all the good stuff that real estate has always represented. That's profits and helping other people without the bad stuff. And what's the bad stuff? Well, it's down payments, contractors, termites, tenants, and toilets. Not necessarily in that order. But that's the bad stuff in real estate. And this represents really all the good stuff, the profits and helping other people and serving both your family with making the money that you deserve and other people who are going to lose all the money that was generated from the sale of their own house unless you intervene. And this works with tax foreclosures all across the United States. Now, we've identified the best states to do this in, and we've identified 21 states that are absolutely ideal for this. And it'll work perfectly in all of those states, and we'll tell you where that is. Now, we'll also give you all the information about the other states. You're free to work in them, but we're going to show you the best states. And a really cool thing about this is that you can work remotely, and that's what our people do. You're not stuck just working in your state, so don't go down the rabbit hole of saying, oh, well, does it work in my state, Bob? You don't need to worry about that because we're working by telephone, by internet, by email, by U.S. mail, by overnight mail. We're not working locally because really you want to draw from the best states, the best lists with the biggest overages available. But let's face it, if you were only limited to working within your state, well, you'd have 1 in 50 of being the best states, and 1 in 50 chance. And if you're limited to, say, working in just your county, well, there are 3,007 counties in the United States, so you'd have a 1 in 3,007 chance of being the best county. So what's great about the system is I'm going to show you how to work it everywhere. And what our people do is they work wherever they want to work. They look at our list of the best places, and that's where they work. So it's really fantastic that it just opens up that whole opportunity. And also, if you're not in the United States, you can also do it there. In the fall, I was living in London for a couple of months, and I was able to do the business successfully from London. Now, there's a little bit of a time difference. There's a 5-hour time difference in total in London. And I was able to just, get up in the morning and do what I wanted to do. Then later in the day, as America woke up, I'd make my calls and do my business, and I was able to do the business just fine. So you can do this from anywhere, which is really great. So let me give an example of how these overages are generated. So this is a property. I'm going to pull out my pen here so that I can show you. This is my pretty cool feature, my PowerPoint pen. You're going to love it. This property we were working on as a pre-foreclosure deal. We were trying to make a deal with the owner, and we just couldn't quite reach an agreement. We looked at it, it was worth like $200,000 fixed up. It needed about $35,000 worth of work. It needed the kitchen to be redone, bathroom to be redone. It just needed quite a bit of work. So we couldn't come to an agreement on price. So the gentleman owed $10,000 in back taxes, and he was not able to pay them. So the property went to tax foreclosure auction. And at that auction, the property sold for $150,000. Now, we were there at the auction looking at it, but that was more money than we wanted to pay, because let's face it, you can't pay $150,000 for a house that's worth $200,000 but needs $35,000 in fix-up. That makes no sense at all. So we let some other bidder have it. And what's interesting is because $150,000 was paid, $10,000 was the amount of back taxes that were owed, and that meant this $140,000 is what we refer to as the overage. And that's the extra money generated from the sale of the house after the taxes are paid. Now, when I say house, all kinds of properties are sold at tax sale. It can be a commercial property, it can be vacant land, it can be a house, it can be any piece of real estate. So, overages come in all sizes because of that. But the point that I want to get to right now is that this $140,000 overage is owed to the former owner of the property. And I say former owner because once the tax sale happens, it's no longer his. And if we think about why this makes sense, well, the county is owed $10,000 in taxes, right? So they should get that money. The first $10,000 that's bid, they take right off the top and they put into the county treasury, which is right. They should get paid their taxes. I'm all for people paying their taxes. But the extra money, that extra $140,000, well, that should go to the former owner because it's their house that was sold. And these folks are typically, when they're kicked out of their house, which is usually the case, they're going to be either living with relatives or living in an inexpensive apartment. That's where they're going. And they could really use the extra money. And it's rightfully their money. And by the way, just one comment on the sale price. So the sale price of $150,000, it was a $200,000 house retail. And I found that the typical sale prices on tax sale properties are 70 to 80% of retail. So this sold for about what I would expect. I expected a $200,000 house is going to sell for $140,000 to $160,000. This one sold right in the middle, $150,000. Made total sense to me, and that's very typical. If you've ever been a tax sale bidder, or a foreclosure auction bidder for that matter, I'll bet you've gone to auctions and maybe been frustrated because the property sold for more than you thought, more than you wanted to pay for it, and you just end up frustrated. But I'll bet you never thought, I wonder what happens to that extra money, because people just don't. If you're there bidding, you don't think about it. So very few people actually know about this. Even the most sophisticated real estate people don't know about it. So this $140,000 is owed to the former owner of the property, as is right, and this is how overages are generated. One of the things I love about this business is you get big returns for a small effort. When I was young growing up, one of the sort of sayings of my family is, if you want to make more money, work hard. Put your nose to the grindstone, son. And I came from a family who was first generation here in the United States, and I understand that sort of we're just going to work hard and that's how we'll make more money. But I found that with my dreams and ambitions, I ran out of ability to work harder before I reached my own goals. And so I said, I got to find something better. So I started looking for business opportunities and for things I could do where I'd get a really good return for a moderate amount of effort. And this business, it really is fantastic. So one small county I'm going to show you had a population of 96,000 people, which is not a huge county. I mean, there are 310 million people in the United States, so 96,000 population is not huge, sort of an average-sized county. Well, the top 3 people owed overages there. They're owed $512,000. Check out $512,000. So if you worked with just those top 3 people, your finder's fees in there would be $153,659. So just to show you the math, to make that simple, it's $512,198 in overage times your minimum referral fee of 30%. Now, often people charge more than that, but you're free to charge as much or as little as you want. That equals at 30%, $153,659 in referral fees. Let me show you the list. I got the list here, and I just wanted to show it to you. This is a list that is a live list that we're actually working on. So if you take these top 3, so we've got Evelyn Carlisle, Kenneth Kurth, and Jonathan Bryant, and Debbie. Check this out. So Evelyn is owed $310,000. That's the overage. That's the excess money left over the tax sale. The sale was held in March of 2013, so more than a year ago. And this money is still sitting in the government holding account, just waiting for either Evelyn to claim it, or on average, after 36 months, it's going to slide into the government operating account and Evelyn can never get it. It's gone. Once it escheats the state, it's gone. So if we worked with Evelyn, the finder's fee I would expect is $93,223.12. Pretty incredible, right? Kenneth Kurth. Kenneth is owed $124,513.60. He's been owed this money since July of last year. So you know he doesn't know about the money because, let's face it, if you were owed $124,000, how fast would you get down there to the government office to claim your money? Like a rocket, right? You take the next day off from work to get down there and camp out on the doorstep until they gave you a check. Well, obviously, anybody who's left the money with the government that long doesn't know about it. So finder's fee there, if we work with Kenneth, our charge would be $37,000. You know, the work involved with doing these is probably overall 6 or 7 hours per claim. You know, how would you like to work 6 or 7 hours and bank a check for $37,000? That's what I mean by a big check for a moderate amount of work. Because this is the way you can really make some money. Look at these folks. So Debbie and Jonathan Bryant, these poor folks lost their house at 380 Radnor Run. They lost it in October of 2012. Long time ago, right? What's owed to them? Sitting in the government bank account, just waiting for them to come down and ask for it, $76,940.80. So our portion, if we worked with Debbie and Jonathan, we would take a $23,000 fee for that. So if we worked with the 3 of these, I did a running total here. So this is just the $93,000, which is from there. If we take 93 plus 37, we get 130,000. And if we also did this 23,000, our total fees, $153,000 in our pocket. I mean, can you imagine if you did nothing with this system except work with the top 3 people you find in your list? And by the way, this is just one list in thousands of counties to choose from. 153,000. And the other thing you have to appreciate about these lists is that every county in the U.S. holds a tax sale at least once a year. So this list is constantly being refreshed with new overages as new tax sales are held. And, you know, really, let's say you're a little more ambitious. Say, you know, Bob, I love the 153,000, but I can do more than 3 a year, especially if it's like 6 or 8 hours. I can certainly do that. So, all right, let's say you're a little more ambitious. Let's work with the top. We'll do the top 10 people. How's that? So I'll just highlight these so we'll see. We can all see what we're working on. So I'll make that yellow. So let's see. Format these cells. Okay. So we're going to work with this top. This is the top 10 because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The top 10. So the top 10 total amount that these folks are owed, $916,000. And that's what I'm looking at right here. $916,000. That's a lot of money, nearly $1 million. If we work with just those top 10, you should charge at least just $274,000. Now again, I'm calculating this at 30%, which is pretty much the minimum. You can charge 40%. Very typical people do. Some people even split it with other folks. But let's just take the most conservative minimum, $250,000 in your bank account. How'd you like to just spend the year doing? Let's say you do 1 a month, and then you're going to take 2 months off because there are 10 of them. So after this exhausting time of doing 10 of them, I'm sure you need 2 months off. Can you imagine banking $274,000 just working with those 10 people? Another thing I want you to observe, so let's look at some of the dates here, because people wonder why these overages are there, and everybody has, of course, their own story. But if you observe the dates as to when this sale was done, and by the way, this is a new list. This is not some old ancient list. This is a current list. So June of 2013, Pamela Cooper loses her house, and she's owed $37,000. December of 2012, Bernadine Stevens owed $55,000. There's no way anybody would leave their money from December of 2012 till now, or June of 2013 for now, if they knew that there was a check sitting waiting for them for $55,000 or $37,000. When we see all these dates, you know that there's no way these people know about the money. They can't. If they knew about it, they would go get it. And, you know, of course, if you're more ambitious, you can do more. There's $34,000 overages. There are whole bunches of them down here. And I would say that generally speaking, it's worth working with overages down to like this level, like $5,300, $5,200, like a $5,000 level. After that, you know, we go and get a new list. But you know, you look at all these things, and boy, if you worked all the way down to this level, you'd make a whole bunch of money. I mean, it's pretty incredible. And, there's another list. This is just a different county we picked, random. And check this out. The overages here, 63,000, 53,000, 52,000. One of the things I want to stress, these are just regular folks. I mean, Robert Van Zant, Carol and Fred Davis, John and Belinda Brady. These are not some big faceless corporation. It's not these just regular people that ran into a heap of financial trouble. As you can see here, they're typically 3 years behind in taxes, so a little bit behind, quite a bit behind. They lost their property. And take a look at this. I thought this is really interesting. So the first one, the Van Zant property sold for $76,000. And look at the overage. The overage is $63,000 out of that. What that means is that essentially there was $13,000 in taxes that were owed. Just the difference between the $76,000 and the $63,000. So this gentleman, Robert Van Zant, fell $13,000 behind in taxes, so they put his property up for public auction, sold for $76,000, and there's $63,000 waiting, just sitting there waiting at the government office for him. And if we helped him out, we'd take a finder's fee of $19,000, and he'd get the balance. So his balance is going to be somewhere in like $45,000 range. Robert Van Zant has no idea that any money is even due him. So can you imagine when you show up with a $49,000 check? Pretty amazing. And as we go down here, let's see, who's this? The Davises, Carol and Fred, their property was sold for $60,000. The overage is $53,000, so they must have owed $7,000 in taxes. These guys, the sale price is $59,000. The overage is $52,000, which says there was about $7,000 owed in taxes. So one of the things I wanted to bring to your attention is that typically, it's this kind of spread. The tax bill is relatively small, so the overages are pretty big. So the overages represent a pretty big part of the money that's available to be claimed if they claim it. If they don't claim it, they just lose it. What if you spent a year working these two lists? I mean, this one worked the top 10 here, and it's $112,000 there. Work the top 10 here, you've got $274,000. That's what, $384,000 just working these two sets of overages. So back to how we started down this path. This really is a business that can give you big returns for a really small effort, and I love that. So you can not have to work that hard. You can spend time with your family. You can spend time doing the things that you enjoy and still make really great money. And let's face it, what could be better than that? And you help these folks that are really getting shafted. And it's just that simple. I hate to start using prerogative terms. It's not what I do, but these people are being screwed. And you and I can help them. And we can help them not get screwed. And we can help stop essentially what I see as just grand theft. I mean, it's the government just taking money that doesn't belong to them and just hurting the people who can least afford it. So I have a little confession to make. I'm here for you because I want you as a budding entrepreneur or business owner to have a business that you can do where you can make great money. But I'm also here for them, the people that don't know that this money's owed to them. The people like Evelyn and Kenneth and Bryant and William Smith and Wang Ching Jing and Susan Langton and Gregory and Melissa Durrell. These people are owed tons of money. Look at it all. Almost $1 million is owed to them, and they're not going to get any of it unless one of us goes and works with them. And, there's way too much for me to handle. I mean, these sales happen in every county in America every year. And these lists, just keep growing and growing and growing. The only thing that shrinks them down is the money being as cheated to the government. And that's just wrong. Because these people are just getting shafted. It's horrible. And again, just regular folks that are just losing thousands of dollars. The Thibodeaus, the Santiagos, Jackson Glover. See, here's an estate. We can work with estates. We actually teach you how to do that. Sometimes, that's where this money comes from. We teach you how to work with an estate. For the most part, these are just regular folks. Now, this one's an entity. That's probably a commercial property. Those are available also. So all of this money sitting in there is waiting to be claimed. And without you or me, it's just never going to get claimed. Because when you look at these dates, if someone hasn't figured out since December 2012 the government's holding $56,000 of their money, nothing magic is going to happen to make them figure it out unless you or I get involved. It's not like the government's going to go find them. They don't. That's why this money's sitting there. And instead, it takes intervention from you, it takes intervention from me to help these folks. So I hope that what you'll do is join me in helping these people. and join me in righting this wrong and making great money doing it. And what could be better than that? Now, I know that everybody can't stay in these whole presentations. I know that you have obligations to your family, you have kids that are running around that need things, you have things going on, spouses that need things. I get that. So if you can't stay for the entire webinar, here is the ordering information. Go to the website on your screen or call the phone number on your screen, and we'll be able to take your order. Now, when you go to the website, you'll see all the information about pricing and exactly what's included and all that. It'll answer all of your questions. I don't want to take the time to go through every component of this right now because this is just something we're doing just to accommodate people who can't stay for the entire time. But if you go to the order link or you call, the people on the phone will be glad to tell you what's included, tell you the pricing and all that. Or if you go to the web, which I guess is probably the easiest way to do it, then you'll see exactly what's involved. And by the way, our training is offered electronically. So the minute that you register, the minute you get involved, you'll get your user ID and password, and you could start your training 5 minutes from now. And the total training is only 3 hours. You have to do about the first 45 minutes to get started, which is going to be getting your list essentially. But you can get started like right now. So if you're ready to get started and you're all excited about it, just go out and do that. Now, you'll notice that there's a band on the bottom that says free live training when you sign up during this call. So we have live training. Next training class is Monday evening. The training lasts about an hour to an hour and a half, depending on how many questions you have. The way that we work with this training is that we've recorded the actual training. Here's the thing. I know the pre-recording may seem odd, but you're going to love this, so check this out. What we discovered is that when we pre-record the training, first of all, it's linear, it's edited, it's neat and tidy. But here's the best thing. It allows us to answer questions from the first minute you're on the webinar. So all that you do is type in your question in the GoToWebinar question and answer box, and we'll answer them. And if we have a small group, if we just get a few people, then it'll just be me, and so it'll be me and you all answer all your questions. If we get more people, then I'll enlist either Rick or Ed to help me out. So then we'll have myself and Rick or myself and Ed. Or if there are a lot of people, then we'll enlist all of us, myself, Rick, and Ed. We'll make sure that we're staffed so that we can meet our commitment, which is to answer every question on the call. So whatever questions you have, whether you're working on a deal or whether there's just something you want some more expansion on or something you didn't get from the training, then we'll answer your question. And I just love the fact that we can answer questions from the first minute. That way we can meet our commitment that we will answer every question, every call. And then at the end, if there are questions left over, we just unmute ourselves on the microphone and I answer your questions. Myself and my business partner Rick and my business partner Ed will answer your questions. Now, I do have to tell you that you have to sign up during this call if you want to be involved with the live training. The reason for that is we need to plan how many people need to attend, whether it's just me or Rick and I or Rick, Ed, and I. It's all three of us. We need to make sure we're staffed appropriately. We need to plan that. We don't want to know, at 7 o'clock on Monday night, oh, gosh, we need 3 of us because there's so many people. So we're going to plan this out. So that means that you just need to make your mind up, and if you get involved now, then we'll put you on the live training. You're going to love live training. We'll teach you the business. We'll teach you how to get started. We'll answer all of your questions, and we'll make sure that you're set to go and get started with the business. So you're absolutely going to love it. So we're going to move on now. I will try and put the order link up on the bottom of slides as we go along, but if you're ready, just go ahead and order. But other than that, everybody, let's continue onward so I can teach you more about this opportunity. First secret about this is that this is different from other found money claims that you may have seen. This is not what you see in lost bank accounts or other items that are found on state treasurers' websites. Those things everybody's familiar with. We've all seen the state treasurers' websites. Everybody knows about those. At one Google search, you'll find them. They're very easy to find. So if you tell someone, oh yeah, there's money that's owed to you from a government agency, the first thing to do is a Google search, and they'll find their state treasurer's website. But what's really interesting is that these things are not put on the internet. And I can tell you the reason they're not put on the internet is because the government doesn't want you to find them. They want to very quietly just sweep that money into their accounts month after month after month. And if they don't put them on the internet, it's more likely that no one will find them. So these are not on the state treasurer's websites. The amounts that you see on state treasurer's websites are much smaller. I mean, let's face it. The things that you see on a state treasurer's website, like a lost bank account, is a bank account that has like $50 in it. It's not, I can assure you. It's not a bank account with $310,000 in it, not a bank account with $37,000 in it. It's not even a bank account with $1,800 in it, probably. Certainly none of these. These things are much, much larger than what you're going to see in lost bank accounts and overages. It's just not, that's the way this is. So this is a much bigger opportunity And the other thing is on state treasurers' websites, usually they limit what they allow you to charge. And they'll usually let you charge 10% of the amount of the money due to the folks. And you're starting out a smaller amount anyway. You're starting out with a lost bank account with $100 in it. And if your total finder's fee you're allowed to charge is 10% or $10, that's not a business opportunity. It's not worth doing. But here, it's different. The money left over from tax foreclosures, in the states that we've identified through our research and through our business activities, there are actually no limits on what you can charge. It's very difficult for a claimant to ever find this money without you. And the reason for that is, again, they're not on the internet. You can't do a Google search and find them. You won't see them. And interestingly, these properties are usually mortgage-free. About a third of the properties in America don't have mortgages on them. And a lot of the properties that go to tax sale don't have mortgages because, frankly, if a mortgage company is involved, they usually escrow for taxes. You're probably familiar with that, where they collect money each month, and then when the tax bill comes due, they pay it. A lot of these properties have been paid off, so there is no mortgage company around. So a lot of them are mortgage-free. Or if they're not mortgage-free, if the mortgage company just missed it, then the mortgages are divested by a tax sale. Now, a lot of people don't, that'll be a shock perhaps to you. The tax man trumps the mortgage company. I can tell you that. The real estate taxes wipe everything off the property. So if the mortgage company does not come and pay the taxes up, their mortgages are going to get detached from that property. So the mortgages don't typically cause any kind of an issue. And a lot of these claims are big, over $10,000 very frequently, even over $100,000. And we see that here. I mean, this is just a representative list. So this one's $310,000, $124,000. We have two on this list that are above $100,000. A whole bunch of others that are tens of thousands of dollars. Matter of fact, to even get below $10,000, you got to get to line 26, which, since we started line 3, the 24th overage is the first one you get to below 10,000. And that's a lot of opportunity just in one county. Again, there are thousands of counties, so to be total in America, 3,007 counties. And you can see these are big, big amounts of money that are sitting out there. Because those large amounts are here in the tax foreclosures, not in the lost bank account websites, this makes this a much bigger business opportunity. It's pretty simple and straightforward. And it takes between 2 and 4 weeks to get paid on a claim you submit. Now, what that depends on is when the county cuts checks. In some counties, they cut checks monthly. Most of them cut them more frequently than that, every week or two. So when you submit your claim, typically the next time they cut checks, they're cutting you a check. So it doesn't take long to get paid on the claim that you submit. Typically, again, 2 to 4 weeks. You should be able to get your first check in about 60 days if you take it seriously and get into action. Now, that's your part. You've got to take it seriously, and you've got to do the business of the business. Find a list, and we'll go through that in a minute. But if you take it seriously, 60 days is a very reasonable amount of time to get your first check. And you're going to spend your first month learning the system, getting your list, and contacting the first folks. Then you're going to submit your claim, and 2 to 4 weeks later, you should have a check. Secret number 3 is really going to surprise you. There's not much competition in this. And there's not much competition because investors never think about what happens to money generated from tax foreclosure sale. If you're an investor at a tax foreclosure sale, you're there trying to buy a property for your own investment. You want a rental property, you want something you can fix and flip, but you don't think about what happens to the extra money. Instead, you're busy competing with other investors, getting frustrated because someone else overpaid for a property, trying to find your own deal. Even the most sophisticated real estate investor typically never figures this opportunity out. The people who are owed the money have no idea that money is out there for them. It's not like they attended the sale. If your property was sold, like these folks, let's take an example. So if you're Debbie and Jonathan Bryant, you didn't go to the sale to watch your house sold out from under you. It's just nobody's doing that. It would be like watching a family member get executed. You're not going to watch some bidder pick up your house for a song. You're just not going. You're going to slink off in the night. And so they're never aware that their property sold for tens of thousands of dollars. They don't really give it any thought. And they are upset, but they don't think, well, how much do they get from my property? They'd have no idea that any money's available for them. And evidence of that is just seeing these lists that are so old, meaning money's been held for so long. But since the people have no idea money's out there for them, it really just is not competition. And the system is really too expensive for a do-it-yourselfer to put together. I mean, to put together the system, first we had to do legal research in 50 states, and just one state cost thousands of dollars to research. We had to do it in all 50 states to figure out what states were the ideal ones to do it in and where we should do it. So we had to do the legal research, And then we spent, well, I spent the time, but if you had paid me to do this work, it would cost thousands of dollars in legal work to draft the forms and agreements and figure out how to legally structure the deal so that you're not circumvented. And we figured all that out. And again, in our business, the participants here have been doing this for 8 years. And so we've kind of had everything happen. And we've, the forms have frankly evolved over time. I mean, when we first did them, they needed some additional things, which as things happened, we said, oh, we better put some language in the form about that. And we built them up over the years. And we still continue to work on them and improve them as new things come up. But for someone who said, well, maybe this is a business opportunity, literally to do the legal research, you spend a couple grand, and then to put together the base forms, you'd spend a couple $1,000s, not even knowing if you had a viable business. So it really is too expensive for do-it-yourselfer to put it together. Now, again, you may notice at the bottom that we're putting the order link down here, the internet and the website. So if you want to place an order, I'll try and put it where I can fit it on these slides, so you'll get to see that down. That's why it's appearing. So there's really not much competition for this. People don't know about it. And what we're doing is planning on training people until we're getting a fair number of these people getting their money back. Now, we're still not seeing any real substantial dent in it yet. Now, one day we will, and when we do start to see a dent in it, when we see these lists are not, full of just almost, this list, if you went down, is well over $1 million sitting in this county, and that's very common. Same thing here. If you start adding this money up, you'll see, it just adds up to huge amounts of money. When we start to see these lists not existing, meaning when we start to see them getting chewed down, we won't offer this opportunity anymore, because as I told you earlier, I'm here for 2 reasons. One is to help you as an entrepreneur, either a current business owner that wants to add something new, or a new person that says, I want a new business that I can do. I want to offer you an amazing opportunity. But the second thing is I want these people who are just getting screwed, and again, excuse the language, but that's what's happening to them. The Durrells, the Stevens, Bernadine, and Pamela Cooper, and William Aaron Smith. I want these people to get their money back. And the only way that's going to happen is if I engage other people to start working this, like you, and we're all working together to help these people. So what's going to happen with this is that we'll offer this until we get enough people doing it, and then we won't offer it anymore. And what I can tell you is that you're not going to get a heads up on it. It's not like I'm going to somehow take your information and reach out to you later. That's not the way it is. We're offering it. You get your opportunity to get involved now, and either you do or you don't. And I'm not going to have an opportunity to reach out to you later. I'm not going to say, oh, next month it's closing, or next week it's closing, or tomorrow it's closing, or in an hour it's closing. I'm not going to be able to do that. So this is your chance to get involved, and I can promise you when it's gone, it's just gone. It means we have enough people. We'll close down the opportunity to new people, and all the people who are involved will continue doing it, and we'll have a ball together. We'll make a lot of money, we'll do a lot of good, and we'll have a blast. So I hope that you'll join us, and join us now rather than wait, because if you wait, you just will never get this opportunity. So again, ordering information is at the bottom so you can see that. I hope that you'll join us, but either way, I hope that you root us on if you decide not to join. There's a frequently asked question, why don't people get their money? It's really simple. They don't know about it. I know that they don't know about it because if they knew about it, these big lists wouldn't exist. That's why I know they don't know about it, because people wouldn't be leaving $63,000 and even $29,000. They just wouldn't be leaving the money sitting there. That's why I know that people don't know about it. Really simple. People didn't attend the sale. They're not going to watch their house get sold out from under them for a song. Not going to happen. So they don't have anything to even tip them off. The government doesn't send out notices. And even if they did send out notices, frankly, the people have left the home. They're not there. They had to move out. And the government just does not send out notices. Now, that being said, there's one state where they do send out a notice. It goes out about a month after the sale. And think about that. So you're sitting there, if you were still in the house, which you're probably not, but let's say, for sake of argument, someone is still in their house. So we'll say Mrs. Smith is still in her house. So this is a woman who didn't pay a couple years' worth of taxes. The county kept sending her threatening letters. If you don't pay your taxes, we're going to assess fines and penalties. And then the letters get more. If you don't pay your taxes, we could sell your property out from under you. And then finally, we're going to sell your property out from under you. Then posting a notice on the door, sending a sheriff with a gun out to post a notice on their door. Terrifying this woman, terrifying her. And then finally, doing the most awful thing ever, selling the house right out from under Mrs. Smith. Right out from under her. And what happens a month later, if she were still cowering in her house, waiting for someone to come kick her out, she gets another letter from the county. She sees the same return envelope, the same return address, and that same like green stamp. There's the government office that took her house right out from under her. Do you think she's going to open that letter? I can tell you, no way. What she's going to do with that letter is put it in a drawer and not going to open it. She's going to bury her head in the sand, because that's what folks do in this situation. If you've ever done pre-foreclosure work, whether it's tax sales or mortgage foreclosures, you know that when you go to those houses, they have piles of unopened legal mail. Mrs. Smith is just going to assume this is another scary letter from the government saying, you know, you owe us this now, we're going to take your bank account, we're going to take your car, we're going to take the shoes off your feet. She's not opening that letter. So even if they did send notice, no one would open it. So aside from that being only one state where they do that, notices just wouldn't even get opened even if they were. So bottom line here is that these people don't know about the fact that there may be money for them. They don't get the notice, and so the people owed the money never make a claim for it because they don't know about it, and nothing tips them off. And that, my friends, is just awful. It's unfair, but that's why people don't get their money, because they don't know about it. And you can help. When you do this business, you're going to help people who've lost everything, and you're going to make a great living doing it. What could be better than that? It's the perfect combination. You're helping people who've lost everything, and you make a great living. Literally nothing could be better than that. It's absolutely awesome. So step one in your new business is finding out who is owed money. What you need is a targeted list of people owed the money. I'll show you how to get that. As an attorney, I know how to get that list. I'll show you how to get it with a stamp or an email, and that way you'll know the people who need the help. So step two in your new business, you're going to locate that former owner. You need the former owner's cooperation to do this. You need to work with them. It's not your money, it's their money, so you need to work with them. We're going to show you how to find the former owners who are owed the money right online. It's fast, it's simple, it's typically 15 minutes on the internet. We've got great tools to do this. We have totally free tools, and we have tools that are very inexpensive, $10 a month, where you can do unlimited searches, and are really powerful tools. We've pretty much tried every tool that's out there, and we know the good ones, and we'll show you exactly what the good ones are, and we'll show you how to use them. So once you locate that former owner, now we're going to reach out with them to get them to work with you. What we will show you how to do is contact those folks online, or you can pick up the phone and call them, or you can send out U.S. mail. It's your choice. Now remember, you're offering them great news. This is not like selling them vinyl siding or something. This is saying there is money available for you, and I'm here to help you get it. So however you contact them, by internet or by phone or by U.S. mail, they're going to be excited to hear from you once they understand what you have to offer. We will show you exactly what message that you're going to send by email, or what to say on the phone with powerful, proven call scripts that you just basically read the script, and it'll get across the message you need to get across and get people excited and engaged to work with you. Or we'll show you what to mail so that people will be excited to work with you. Because I've got to tell you, this is probably the point in the business that I think is the biggest challenge, and here's the way that it works. When you call this person that has had their house taken out from under them, essentially at gunpoint, they've been threatened, they've been bullied, and they've had their house taken away from them. Well, when you reach out to them, their first reaction is that you're some kind of scammer, that it can't possibly be true. You must be like the latest, Nigerian scam. You know those Nigerian scams where you get an email that says, you're related to the Prince of Nigeria, and the Prince has to get $40 million out of the country, and if you help, you'll get a portion. And those are scams. We all know that. They're going to think there's no way that I can get any money, because I'm a loser in life. I get kicked around, I lose things, I don't gain things. And that's what they think. Well, you've got to overcome that initial fear. And we'll show you exactly how to do that with call scripts, and with a tool that I'm going to give you as a totally free bonus to get involved. It's going to help you establish instant credibility with people, and you'll see when I show you the tool how powerful it's going to be, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. So step 3, you're going to get that owner to work with you. Then when I call step 3.5, this is securing your fee. And just a note of caution here, this is where you can make thousands or you can lose it all if you don't do this right. And as an attorney, I know how to secure your fee. That's one thing that, as an attorney, attorneys know how to make sure that we get paid. So I'm going to give you powerful attorney-written contracts that lock down the deal. I'll give you those proven, powerful contracts that will lock that deal down so you get paid. And here's an insider secret. You don't have to go out and meet owners. What we do is we teach you, and we do this in our own business, we use local people who'll go meet the people owed the money. They'll get all the papers signed, and then they'll overnight them or mail them back to you. Really simple. We have local folks, and we'll show you how to get these same local folks to work for you. These are independent contractors that we engage when we need the work done. They are all over the country. They're in every state of the union, every county. We'll show you how to get these local folks to work for you also, just like they do to us. And they're not expensive. I asked Christine about it, and if you remember, Christine's my assistant in my office that has just done her first overage, her $33,000 overage. And I asked her how much the service charged her with the local people, and she said it was $32 to get them to go out, meet with the people, get all the papers signed, and send it back to her. I was like, that is a great deal. Because one of the things we want is a business where you don't have to be running out at night to meet with people in their houses, because that was always something that caused me hesitation. I didn't like going out to people I didn't know in their house in the evening. It wasn't good. So, nothing bad ever happened, and it wasn't something that was good. So we show you how to get these locals to work for you, which also frees up the whole country. You can work anywhere, from anywhere. That's how I was able to work on this business in London. That's how I'm able to work on this business from wherever I am to other places. Same way that you'll be able to. So you'll be able to stay at home, work in the best areas, the biggest overages, where you see nice, big, juicy lists, like this list with its $916,000 just in the top 10, or this list with its $359,000 in the top 10. So you can work on those best lists. You can have a great lifestyle and a great business. What could be better than that? So you don't have to go meet the owners. By the way, I am putting this way that you can order and get involved at the bottom, so that, again, whenever you're ready to get involved, you can just go get started. So I don't want anybody to be held up, or certainly not ever miss this opportunity because you had to hop off early. So simple process. Step 1, get the list of people owed money. Step 2, locate them using our online tools. Step 3, contact them with our message. Step 4, send the service out to get the paperwork signed. And then step 5, which is my favorite step, get paid. Really simple. It's a very simple, straightforward, linear process. This is not hard. Simple, straightforward process, which is great, because simple is where you make money. Complicated is when it's just you don't make money because it's too complicated. This is a really simple and straightforward process. So let me give you an example of a student. So student gets a list of people owed the money. That's part 1. You're going to get that with a stamp or an email. He identifies an overage of $1,723.88. Now, that's a small overage, and there are these size overages all over, and every list has little ones like this. And I asked him, I said, well, why are you pursuing such a small overage? And he said, well, I've never done this before. And he said, I see the big ones on the list. He said, I don't want to mess up. He said, if I mess up, I want to mess up on a small one, and that way it's not a big loss. I'm not losing a big finder's fee. So I said, okay. I said, but you got to promise me once this one works, then we get a big one. He's like, we will. I said, I just want to try it. And I want to ask you, because I'm going to show you 3 that he did, and I want to know where you would start. So there's going to be a test here, so make sure to pay attention. So he gets the first one, $1,723. He then uses the online tools to locate the former owner. Again, quick and easy on the internet. He contacts them with our message. Now he chose to use email. Contacts them. They say, yeah, I'm interested. So he sends out the service to get the contract signed, locks down that deal, and then he collects his check. Turns to the claim and gets the check. Now, his portion of that at 30%, $517.16. So not huge. We're talking about, he's like, well, I have $517 I didn't have. And he said, I'm off to the races because I got a whole list. And I said, okay. I said, but let's go for a bigger one this time. He says, I will, Bob. Next overage he goes after is $8,906.20. So there he collects $2,671. And then he says, I'm going to go for the big one. I'm comfortable now. I've done 2 of them, and I'm going to do the third. Goes for $24,000 overage. He gets $7,485.64. Sweet, huh? So my question is, which one would you start with? So we got 3 choices here. $1,723 one, an $8,906 one, or you can start with a big kahuna $24,000 one. Type in where you would start. I'm just curious where you would start. Okay. So we got a couple pieces. I'm going for the big one, Rob. I get it. I'm with you. I think that's a great answer. There are a couple of people that want to go for the smaller one. They want to go for the $517. So Mary says, I'm going to go for the $1,723 to start slowly and get my feet on the ground. I'm like, okay. George agrees. He says, yeah, I'm doing the same thing. And I can't pronounce Wanatu? I can't really pronounce the name. Sorry if I'm getting it wrong. I don't mean to offend you, but it says smaller one too. There's nobody falling in the middle, though. Anybody for the middle? Nobody going for the middle. Okay. Oh, we got a couple middle ones. All right, a couple want to start in the middle. I get that balanced approach. Pretty cool. So anyway, there's no wrong answer. There's no wrong answer. It's just the only wrong answer is not graduating up to bigger ones. And I do understand people want to start slowly and start smaller. I get that. I understand people want to start a little bit bigger. Nothing's wrong. It's all good. And you'll get a wide variety. You know, when you get these lists, you can say, you know what, these are my goal ones. These are ones I'm going to do, but I'm going to start down here. You know, start with a $1,200 one like this one. You know, start with the $1,296. Get Steve Howell his money. You get $400 or $500. He gets $800. He's happy. Easy to deal with, no problem. So you can do that. You know, all these lists have small ones and big ones, so you can work. So you can find a small one. There you go. There's a $1,500 one. You can work with Robert Clay down here. Work with Robert. Get him $1,000. You take $500, and everybody's happy, and you get started. So pretty easy to do. So anyway, no wrong answer. But can you imagine the first time you're sitting there getting your first overage check? I mean, just imagine that you've submitted your overage claim, you've gotten the guy signed up, submitted the claim to the county, and we teach you how to keep track of it so you know when the check is coming. And let's say you talk to the county on Friday, and they said, oh yeah, checks are going out today. And you know it's going to take you, on average, 3 or 4 days to get your check. So check didn't come Monday, so you know it's going to be here Tuesday. So it's Tuesday, and you decide, you know what, I'm going to go to work late today. I'm going to call in and tell them I'm going to be late because the post office man is coming in the morning. So about 9:30, you're sitting there having a cough. You're so excited, you're just vibrating. And then you see it. You see the postman driving down the street. And you know what he does is he parks at the end of the street, then walks up and delivers the mail. So you're like, all right, that's going to take me like 6 or 7 minutes to get here. You're really excited. You're jumping up and down. And after a couple minutes, you see him across the street, and here he's crossing the street towards your house. So you're peeking out the window, you see him, you're like, I'm going to go out there. So you open the door, and you say, hey, Fred, how you doing this morning? Hi, he says, I'm doing great. How are you? And he says, I got your mail for you. And you spot it. You see the return address of the government agency, because those things are always unique. You see that stamp, and you see government. That's it. And you see it. And you can barely contain yourself. So, Fred, it was good seeing you. So you take your mail. You're trying not to look funny or anything. And Fred's like, how are you doing? You're like, well, great. So Fred goes on his way. And he heads off. And then there it is. You've got the check. And you know it's this $24,000 check that's coming to you. You barely contain yourself. So you almost look left and right. Like, did anybody see me? Not that you're doing anything wrong. It's your mail, right? You can't do anything wrong. But it's like, did the neighbors see? Do they know? Of course they don't know. But you go inside, you close the door, you lock it so nobody comes. You go to your kitchen table and you put that envelope down. And just look at it for a minute. And you're almost too excited to even open it. Like, could this really be true? Could you finally have made the system, like something you got just work? And so you get up the courage, like, all right, I got to be careful not to tear the check. So, and you can see it, through the plastic envelope. You'll see, that it's a check. You can see it. So you go, all right, I'll get a butter knife and I'll open it. So you get a butter knife, you slide it in under the flap, and you start, you rip the envelope open with a knife. And then you're almost afraid to open it. So you fan the envelope a little bit, you push it on the side so it opens, and you see it, and it is a check. Like, oh my gosh. So you reach in there and you pull it out, and there it is. $24,952.13 sitting in your hands. And you realize that your portion of that, $7,400. $7,400. That's yours. Your money. You've earned it. And you're going to call the other person. They're going to have $17,000 coming to them. They're going to get that. And you're like, I can't believe this. You're almost speechless. So let's say your wife or your husband's upstairs and say, honey, come on down. And say to your wife, she says, I'll be down in a minute. No, come down now. So, all right. So she comes down the stairs. Comes to the kitchen, says, what is it? And you just hand her the envelope with the check. Put the check back and hand her the envelope. And she goes, what's this? You say, look at it. Look inside. She opens up the envelope. Pulls out this check and says, what's this? $24,000. Where did you get this? Like he maybe did something wrong. I say, remember when I got involved in that overages course? Yeah. That's my first check. $24,000? Well, no, wait. That's not all ours. Remember, our portion, $7,400. Your spouse would be like, are you kidding? $7,400 is ours? Yeah, $7,400 is ours. Your spouse would look at you in a whole different way, saying, I can't believe it. Really? Are there more of these? They say, yeah, these lists are huge. These lists have many of them. Lists are over and over and over again. Many of them. Your spouse would never look at you the same. God said, I can't believe this. How can I help? Be so excited. So excited. Can you imagine then taking that check, driving down to the bank to deposit it? Imagine when you fill out the deposit slip, you walk into the bank branch, you turn to the right where they keep the deposit slips, you pull out a deposit slip, you fill in the account information, you attach the check to it, and then you walk up to the teller and hand a $24,000 check over the desk. Teller looks at it, looks down at the check, looks up at you, looks down at the check, says, oh my gosh. And then, of course, she's going to be a professional, so she deposits it and says, have a really nice day, but she's going to straighten up a little bit more. Here, thank you, Mr. Diamond. Thank you for doing business here. And they're going to take note of you, like, wow, that's a big deposit check. And as you start to deposit these checks over and over again, you know what happens at the bank? Something interesting will happen. You walk in one day, and the teller will go, hey, Mr. Diamond, good to see you. You're going to come up and tell her and say, our branch manager wanted to talk with you, and he said when you came in to make sure that you got him so he could talk to you, and you go, oh, okay, what's going on? Well, hang on a minute, we'll get it. Branch manager comes out, has a big smile, strides over and says, Mr. Diamond, it's so good to see you. I'm so glad you're a customer of the bank. Why don't you come to my office for a minute so we can talk? So you're almost thinking there's something wrong, like you're in trouble, like the principal, but he seems friendly, so you go in his office and goes, I noticed that you've been making a lot of big deposits and your account balance is growing, and I just wanted to tell you, we wanted to thank you for your business, and I wanted to tell you about our different products and let you know that if you need any help, if there's a big line and you need something deposited, feel free to knock on my office door anytime and just come in and I'll take care of you. And you're like, wait, what's going on here? I've never been treated this way at a bank before. And what's happened is you've just become a really desirable customer for the bank because you're depositing these checks. And it might be a $24,000 check today, an $8,900 check yesterday. Now, it could be the $1,700 check, although that won't get you the special treatment yet. But you start depositing these checks, and you get a different level of service at the bank. They're going to want to let you know about their products. You're going to be very welcome there at any time, and you'll never wait in line again. It's pretty awesome, huh? This can really be a life changer for you and a difference in the way that you're treated in life, and it's pretty awesome. This is really an amazing business, and you're going to love it. There's no dealing with properties and all. Now, I love real estate. I own a bunch of real estate. It's been very good to me. But it is, it's got its problems. Dealing with real estate means I deal with contractors, I deal with tenants and toilets, and it's a good business, but it's not always the most fun business. So you don't have to deal with properties. You can work the business anywhere, even from outside the U.S. When I was in London, I was working it perfectly fine, and we have other students that are working it from abroad, from Canada, from Australia, from Europe, because you're doing everything by phone, by email, by internet. We even have a service that will deposit checks when they come in for you. It's not our service. We have a third-party service that we refer you to. We have a third-party service to provide an office address for you. We can show you how to get free international calling so you can actually have a local number. We can show you how to set up all of that so you can do business even if you're not in the United States very easily. This is a completely work-at-home business. There's no need to leave your home or your office to do this business. As a matter of fact, if you're leaving to do business, you're not doing it right. Because if you leave, go leave to have fun. Go leave to go to the gym. Go leave to go on vacation. Go leave to visit your friends and have lunch with them. But don't leave home to go to work. That's just a waste of time commuting. Now, if you want an office, you can have one, but there's no need for it in this business. Be prepared to get your first check fast. Get this system, implement it, take it seriously, and do it, and it's very realistic to be able to get your first check in 60 days or less. It's about 3 hours of initial training, so you're going to spend 3 hours getting oriented. Do our 3 training calls. You'll sign up today, and you'll get our 3 training calls Monday at 7 o'clock, the following Monday at 8 o'clock, and then the following Monday after that at 8 o'clock. So do the 3 training calls, and you'll know how to do the business, and you'll be getting started, because as we go along, you're going to be doing the business, like getting your list and contacting people, and hopefully you'll have good questions for me about that. And then you should be able to get someone signed up in your first 30 days or so. And then submit your claim, and you should be getting your check within 30 days of that. So it's pretty easy to get your first check. Remember, funds are ready to collect right this minute. These monies are sitting in government bank accounts. That $916,000 is sitting in a government bank account right now, waiting for someone to claim it. This $359,000 is sitting in a government bank account waiting to be claimed. It's sitting there right now. It's not something that's a future thing. It's right this minute. That money's there. And there's no investment to get into deals. You don't have to put up money. You don't have to go get a bank loan. Nothing complicated. Instead, you're just signing an agreement with people that you'll go and get the money for them and do that work. When you work with these folks and you get them a check, they are thrilled. As a matter of fact, when you bring them a check, if you decided to ever deliver it, you better get used to getting hugged and kissed and used to people crying with tears of joy. Because that's the way it's going to be. I mean, imagine just for fun that you bring, let's take the biggest one, Evelyn Carlisle, $310,000. So let's say net your fees, you're going to have a check for her for $220,000. Now imagine Evelyn is a person that has lost her property at 155 Gwinnett Drive to the tax man. She lost it in March of last year. So we know that she has no idea the money's out there, otherwise she wouldn't be on this list. Imagine when you show up with a check for $220,000 made out to her name. Do you remember when they used to do the Ed McMahon did the Publishers Clearinghouse commercials? And Ed would be driving around in a Chrysler minivan. He'd get out of the minivan, and then people with balloons, and they'd have a big check, like a giant oversized blow-up of a check. Well, you can be just like Ed McMahon. You show up with that giant check, show up with some balloons, knock on the door, and say, Miss Carlisle, I'm here with your check. Can you imagine the expression in her face when she walks out the door, and there you are with a check for $210,000 for her? How much fun would that be? You got to admit, that would be a blast. Matter of fact, I'm going to make an offer. When you get involved with this today, if you go and do that, if you go and deliver a big fat check to Evelyn Carlisle or someone like her, anybody in her position, get the blown up check and take a little video camera or your cell phone even, I don't care, and take a video of you doing that. Have some balloons, have a check, and hand it to the person and watch their reaction. Watch them sit there with their mouth open and surprised, like, I can't believe this. I can't believe this is really true. I have this money. Watch them start to cry. Watch them put their hands up in the air and jump up and down and just give you a big hug. I will give you $1,000 if you send me that video. If you do this, send me that video and send me a copy of that check so that we can have some fun with it. I will give you $1,000. No problem. That would just be priceless to me, because for me, I know we're making a difference. It would just be fun. So, first person to do that, actually anybody, you do this, I will give you $1,000 for it. So you go and do that. One per customer, by the way, because I know you're going to be getting this over and over and over again. Anyway, right now, millions of dollars available sitting there. You got to get involved with this business. It is an amazing business, and this opportunity will only be open as long as we have many overages available, so that everybody who's doing the business can make a lot of money and make a big difference, because we need to make sure we tailor it to that. So I can promise you that once we get enough people involved with this, we'll shut it down. There's no prior notice. You're not going to get a notice, it's closing down next month or next week or tomorrow or in an hour from now, because this is your opportunity. And I'm not going to keep a list of everybody who ever attended a presentation and didn't order. So this is your chance to get involved, and do get involved, because again, once we have enough people doing this and we're getting enough of these people their money back, then we'll shut off this opportunity. The people in will stay in, they'll be able to do overages forever. The people who are out just will be out, and that'll be the end of it. So get involved now. Don't wait or hesitate on this, because if you do, you just won't have the opportunity like other people will have. This business can be your business. $42,000 overage, your finder's fee $12,000. You might be like one of our students who decided she's going to clean up a whole county. So she's taking the small ones, the big ones, she's working them all. In 3 weeks, she got $17,000 in overages. She collected $1,510, and she got $12,000 back to people whose money it belonged to. So pretty amazing. Let me ask you a question. What would your life be like if checks like those checks were your checks? I mean, maybe you want a bright red Ferrari. That car is called a Ferrari F40. It's a very collectible car. And the funny thing about a car like that, a Ferrari F40 or any car of its class, if you keep the car and take good care of it, it actually is worth more money in following years. It actually increases in value like a piece of fine art. So if you bought that F40, keep it in your garage, keep it under a cover, drive it on nice sunny days, enjoy it. But don't rack up the miles. Don't go driving cross country back and forth with it. But just drive it on Sundays and enjoy it. Well, if a couple of years go by and you say, you know what, I want to try a new car. I want to try this other Ferrari, a 348 Mondial. Well, you could take this car to the auction and most likely make money with it, because that's how these things go. They go up in value if you take care of them, and then go get another one and have fun. This is how rich people stay rich. By the way, they buy stuff that's appreciating assets, even their cars, instead of buying things like regular people do, which are depreciating assets because they don't have the money to get into this. Well, do some overages, get your Ferrari, have a blast with it, and then when you're ready to trade it for something else, trade it for something else. Maybe you have something more down to earth. Maybe you say, no, Bob, the Ferrari's a bit much. I have more down to earth things right now. Maybe you've got a son or a daughter or a niece or a nephew that's in college and they're really bright, but college is so expensive these days. I mean, easily for a private college, you can drop $50,000 or more on a year's worth of college. And frankly, a four-year college is just not affordable for most people to pay cash for it. Well, what if you said to your niece or nephew or son or daughter, your job is going to be over the next 4 years is to do well in school. I want you to focus on your schoolwork, and if you'll maintain a B average, or maybe you want a B plus average, you maintain that average, and I'll take care of the cost of school, and I'll take care of living expenses. And you won't have to worry about money. And you offer that deal, and what you're going to do is, well, you're going to do a couple of overages. So if you get $50,000 together for college, well, how many overages does that take? I mean, you could do one with Evelyn. You could pay for almost 2 years of college. But let's just say we picked, I don't know, this one, $37,000 and a $23,000. We could do those two. We'd collect about $60,000 between the two of them. We'd have college paid for a year, and we'd have change left over. Simple. 2 overages, done. College paid for. Pretty amazing. Maybe over the summers you even have him or her help you out with the business and learn how to make money for themselves. Maybe that's what you would do. The whole world's open to you when you want to do that. Or maybe you even have something more down to earth. Maybe you're saying, you know what, Bob, I just need a vacation. I just dream about a tropical vacation. I'm just ready to go on vacation. Imagine doing an overage deal. And let's say you do a smaller one. You make $7,000 check. And you say to your husband and wife and your kids, say, you know what, we're going off for a family vacation, kids. We're going to Hawaii. Tropical paradise, found a beautiful all-inclusive resort. It's $7,000 including airfare for the 4 of us. And we are going on vacation. We're going to have a blast. You fly off to Hawaii. You land. It's beautiful. It's sunny. It's tropical. White sand beach, turquoise water, warm sun washing down on you. And you just say, ah. You put on your swim shorts and your flip-flops and your t-shirt, and you say, kids, let's go to the beach. So everybody goes to the beach and say, if it's me, I'd say, Dad's tired, I'm going to go take a nap. So kids say, great, we're playing in the water, they've got activities, it's an all-inclusive resort, they got people supervising them. So you get in that hammock and you just relax. Oh, it feels so good. You hear the breeze gently washing through the palm trees over your head, as it just gently goes through the palms. You hear the water gently lapping underneath as it comes up on shore. Hear that. Maybe bring a book with you, open up your book and read it for a couple minutes, then take a nap. And then the server comes up and says, oh, can I get you a drink or a snack? And you say, yeah, what do you have? Oh, we have a pina colada. We have ones with rum or ones without. We have sodas. You say, you know what? I'll take a pina colada with an umbrella in it. She says, great. I'll be right back. So she comes, she brings you a pina colada, maybe a little bit of a snack. Either sipping your pina colada with its umbrella on it. Your husband or wife is sitting on the beach in a beach chair, just relaxing. Maybe it's your wife, she has a nice hat on with a pair of glasses, just feeling good, enjoying life, smiling. You hear your kids off in the distance, laughing and giggling and having a great time, splashing around. Life is good. And you know what the best thing about that vacation? Completely paid for. You don't have to stress out thinking, oh, what if this critical bill comes, I'm going to die. Instead, $7,000 vacation, let's just do one overage. I mean, $7,000. Let's do this one. Mary Lane Zelinsky. She's been owed $25,000 since June of 2012. June of 2012. It's like 2 years ago. $7,600 in your pocket. We're going to help Mary Jane Zelinsky. And then we are going on vacation, family vacation. And that's the power of having a business that makes money, is you have that freedom without the stress. You can go on vacation, you can have a great time, you just enjoy the vacation, take all the family pictures, build those family memories without feeling stressed about it. Instead, just enjoy yourself and make a goal. Do an overage, go on vacation. Do a couple of overages, pay for a year of college. That's good living. That's good living. That's what I want to teach you how to do. That's what I want to empower you to do. Maybe you've always dreamed, or maybe you have a little power boat and you'd like a new one. Well, I grew up on a lake where we were water skiing, we were fishing, we were out tubing, we were out just enjoying an evening cruise as the sun would set, bringing friends out, playing the radio, and just quietly enjoying the night. Boats like that are great as long as they're paid for. A boat with a payment's not so great. That's just annoying. But a boat that you pay cash for, now there's a boat we're talking about. And say you buy a boat like that and you get all the bells and whistles, $50,000. Well, what would that take? Well, $50,000. We'd need to do. Let's say we already paid for college up here, and we paid for vacation. So let's move down here. We need $50,000. So we're going to do these three. We'll do Wan Ching Jing. We'll help him out. Susan Langton, and Gregory and Melissa Durrell. And there it is. We'd have a little over $50,000 in our bank account. We'd have enough money to pay for this beautiful boat that we're going to enjoy for years, and we did it with 3 overages. That is the way that you organize your life for success, where it's not just about debt and spending and earning and spending and earning and spending. Instead, you take some action, do 3 overages, get your boat. That's what your life can be like. Or maybe you're even at this point just saying, Bob, I just need some money in the bank. I want that security of having money in the bank. And to me, that's what money in the bank represents. It's security. I want to make my piggy bank fat and happy. Great. Do some overages. Stuff that piggy bank. Do some overages, pay all the credit card debt off, and then stuff your piggy bank fat. Having a powerful, repeatable business is what can make all of this accessible to you. So go to the website at the bottom, or call us up and get started now. We'll train you how to do this system. We'll support you, and you can go and be successful. You just roll up your sleeves, put a little elbow grease, and success can be yours with this. So here's how you're going to get started this week. Get the course, get involved, and go through 3 hours of online training. We're going to show you the areas to target, how to get the records, and how to find the people right online from the comfort of your home. Then start sending in requests for the money. Literally, you can get people signed up this month and start getting checks next month. Now, your investment to get this is $1,497. In context, that's not a big investment. It's essentially free after you recover one small overage of a little under $5,000. So, and just the math, $5,000 overage times 30% gives you $1,500. Pretty easy to make this one pay off for you. Pretty easy. After that initial overage, the system is yours essentially for free. You can use it forever. Once it's yours, it's yours. No one tells you what to do, including me. I'll be there to support you. If you look at a $5,000 overage, I mean, you have to even go pretty far down the list. You'd have to go all the way down to here, which is, let's see, Jeffrey Sibley, $6,766 sitting there. It's number 18 on the list. It's card number 3, so it's a 15th one down to get that. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. So easy to get this one to pay off for you. Very easy. So in the training, each step is broken down for you. I show you how to do each step in depth. There's a quick start video and a workshop for each step. We're going to show you the best states to work in. We've identified 21 states we think are premier. Now, you can work in the other states if you want to. We have research available in each state, so we can tell you where you can do it and what the rules are and what the benefits and detriments are of each state. We're going to give you all the contracts, attorney-written, drafted contracts that are the product of years of experience in this business. We're going to give you the call scripts so that when you're talking to somebody, they'll know exactly what to say. We're going to give you all of the resources that you need to do the business. And I'm going to give you this first bonus, which is our credibility website. So one of the fears that people are going to have when you first contact them is that you're a scammer, that you're somehow going to hurt them or rip them off or something. The way that we deal with that is we give you a website. And just imagine this. You're calling William Aaron Smith. He's owed $69,000. We call and say, Mr. Smith, my name is Bob Diamond, and I'm contacting you because we audit government bank accounts, and we believe that we've located, so $69,000. I would actually quote him the net. I'm going to take a $20,000 fee. So I would say, we've located a government bank account holding money that belongs to you, and we believe that if you work with us, we can get you a check for $49,000. Of course, Mr. Smith would be pretty incredulous. I mean, you get a call from someone saying there's $49,000 that's yours for the asking if you work with me. He's going to be a little suspicious, right? He's going to be like, yeah, right. All right, who's playing the joke? He's going to look, is it April Fool's Day or something? I don't know about it. Is it Fool William Aaron Smith Day or something? One of the things that we do to establish credibility in that situation, because that is a challenge, is I would say, Mr. Smith, I understand that this is hard to believe that there could really be $49,000 out for you. I understand that. This happens all the time. We spend our time auditing government bank accounts, and everybody feels the same way as you. So I understand it. Do me a favor, are you near a computer? And of course, everybody's near a computer these days. I'd say, yeah. What I want you to do is log on to this website. So go to our website. So he goes on, and you're going to have your own website that we're going to build for you. And he says, oh, what's this? And, well, Mr. Smith, this is our website. And I go, really? Yep, that's our website. And you can even put your picture on the website if you want to, and I do suggest that you do that. And he'll say, oh, is that you in the picture? Yeah, that's me. Oh. Wow, interesting. So this is your website, your company. Yeah, so that's my company website. Is that your phone number? Yeah, it's my phone number. If you'd like, you can call me back there. I said, no, I don't need to do that. And he'd be scratching his head because he'd think, wait a minute. Scammers don't have websites. I mean, they may send you an email, but they don't have a website. So all of a sudden he's getting a little interested. And our website, of course, has the professional graphics, the professional copy, meaning what's actually written in there. It answers frequently asked questions people have. And all of a sudden you're looking credible. He's like, huh, interesting. And to say, our website explains a little more about what we do, tells you a little bit more about us, and it's something we offer to show you that we are real. And, I completely understand how, this seems incredible, and everybody I talk to has the same reaction when we find this kind of money, that they're like, wow. And we teach you how to walk through the conversation so that you will turn them around and have them just so excited that there's money out there for them. So the cool thing about the website is that we have it set up completely automated. So you just fill in a short form, which has the name that you want to operate under. You can operate under your own name, or you can operate under a corporate type name. You put in the phone number where you'd like people to call you, the email you'd like people to send the email, and the address for your office, which, generally speaking, you can use your home, you can use a P.O. box, you can use a virtual office. We talk about all those things in the training and how to do that, and sort of the pluses and minuses of each. It'll only take you probably 10 to 15 minutes to set it up. When we had the programmers program this, I said, let me try it once, don't give me any instructions or help, I'll go try it. So I went and tried it without them even watching, and it took me 15 minutes to set up the first one I did as a test. And the second one took me 6 minutes, because once you sort of know how to do it, it's very simple. Normally if you went to build a website, you could drop $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 very easily, because you have to have someone to do graphics, graphic artists to do that, to get images that cost you money. You'd need to have a professional writer write all the copy. Plus, you have to figure out what to even tell them to write. It costs money to do that. Well, we have everything set up for you automatically, totally free, included with the purchase price. And the other thing is that we don't charge you any monthly fees or annual fees or anything else. We host this on our servers, and we've already paid for the servers, so we don't need extra money from you to host your website. So we'll host it on our servers. The only cost that you could have, if you want to reserve a domain name through, say, GoDaddy or Gator Hosting, one of the other ones, you'll spend $8 to $10 a year for the domain name. So no big deal. And obviously that's $8 to $10 a year is just next to nothing. And there's no monthly fee or anything. I want to stress that. No monthly charge for this. We'll host it for you. I want to give you a second bonus also. I figured out how to use virtual assistants to do most of the work in the business so that you can offload a little of the work or a lot of the work. Now, when you're first starting out, do the first one or two yourself. Collect some money, get paid, understand how the whole process works, but then start using virtual assistants. Now, you might use them just for the first step, getting a list of people owed money. Pretty straightforward, something virtual assistants can very easily do. Maybe have them do the computer search to find the people. Maybe you'll have them even contact them, send an internet message that we give you, or call them on the phone, or send out regular snail mail. They can do that. Maybe you'll even have them take the call and get the agreement. Maybe have them submit the claim. well, whatever you have them do, whatever out of this list, we'll teach you how to get them for about $3 an hour. And most importantly, I'll teach you how to divide up the work among these different tasks so that they can't steal the business. If they only know how to get the list and they don't know anything else about the business, then they don't have a business or no ability to steal it from you. If all they know is how to take a list that's given to them and only know where it came from and then find the people on it, well, they can't do the business. So we'll teach you how to break it up. Now, the one thing I would suggest that you keep is this part, taking calls and getting the agreement. I think you're better off talking to the claimants, the people that are owed the money. I think that's something you should keep. That's what we keep in our office, but again, it's up to you. You don't have to do that. And by the way, virtual assistant, if you're not familiar with that term, it just means someone that works for you but not in your office. They may be in the Philippines, they may be in America. We have about a dozen virtual assistants that work for us doing all kinds of things. You can have them work for you. Bonus 3, 3 hours live training. Here's where my business partners and I, Rick and Ed and myself, will show you the system and answer your questions in the program live. Now, we talked about this earlier. It's available when you register now, because I need to know how many people we have so we can decide whether it's just me on the training or Rick and I or Rick, Ed, and I. So we have enough people so we meet our commitment is that we will answer every question on every call. There's no waiting list in this. If you don't sign up now, there's no later, because we're going to get our sign-up list. We're going to then staff appropriately and moving forward. So there's no waiting list on this. It's just people who sign up are in, people who don't aren't. There are 3 one-hour training calls starting this coming Monday. Those are scheduled for an hour. Now, since we do have the commitment that we'll stay on the line until every question is answered, set aside extra time, because people will be asking questions, and if it goes longer, then we'll stay longer. I'll stay, so just set aside an extra half an hour just in case it runs late. We will record the calls so you can listen to them later if you'd like to listen to them again, or if it goes too long and you can't stay for the whole thing. We'll record them and they'll be available for you to listen later. I have to stress that, though, this is limited to people who sign up now. We're not keeping a waiting list. I can't keep a waiting list. It's just too much additional work. It's just a distraction for us. So when you sign up now, you're in. We'll staff it appropriately so we can get all the questions answered. And remember, with this training, we recorded the base training. So that's done by webinar. I'll go to webinar. And then you're going to type in your questions. And then from the first minute, I'll be answering questions. Because I don't have to say, oh, hold your questions at the end because I'm busy doing my presentation. Instead, we're having dialogue during the training so I can answer your questions and your follow-up questions. So it's really cool. So you'll love it. It's what I call a live hybrid model, because it's ideal that we record the base training because then it can be edited. It's linear. It doesn't go around in circles or anything. But I'm there, and as necessary, my business partners, they're answering your questions. Nothing could be better than that. Folks, there are hundreds of millions of dollars up for grabs right now. These overages are generated from residential and commercial properties. They're sitting out here on lists. You can see the list. I mean, there are literally just millions of dollars sitting out there in counties waiting for you to get involved, waiting for you to help these poor folks who've lost everything get their money. It's sitting there. And it's sitting there right now all across the USA. It's not something will come. It's something that does come. It's here right now. And best of all, it keeps getting added to. If you think of overages like fishing in a stream, well, you're fishing. The government agency is dropping more fish into the stream, more overages into the stream. And you just keep fishing them out, and fishing them out, and fishing them out. And the sad thing is if you don't get them in time, if you don't get them before they cheat, like that 3-year time period typically, well, then they go over the falls and disappear forever, and you're never able to fish them out. They're just gone. They're taken by the government. That's going over the waterfall. So let's get together and stop these overages from falling over the waterfall and into the hands of Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam's like one of those bears that you see in the salmon spawning. He's like sitting there just grabbing the overages as they come by like a salmon and eating it. You've seen that, the bears just catching them as they come by. Well, that's the government. It's Uncle Sam down there eating all the big fat overages. Well, let's go fishing upstream and grab those overages to help get the people who owe the money their money back and to make a bunch of money ourselves. We'll be better than that. So when you get involved, you can have days like this. A $13,000 overage with a 30% finder's fee of $4,000 in your pocket. A $22,000 overage with $6,800 in your pocket. Can you imagine being home one day or getting your day's mail and there's $10,903 that's yours in there? Woohoo! That would be a nice day, wouldn't it? Well, that's what can happen when you start working in the system. If you work it diligently and put in some elbow grease, these days can be yours. Maybe even a day like this. This is a check that Rick got, $54,000 check. His portion, $16,318. Imagine getting that check in the mail and showing it to your spouse. Whew. Awesome, huh? Program's $1,497, or we do have a payment plan available. You can do 3 payments of $597. The way that works, you make one payment of $597 now, another payment of $597 in 30 days, and the third payment of $597 30 days after that. I do realize, despite being a lawyer, I'm not that math challenged. I do realize that $597 times 3 is not $1,497. It's more than $1,497. That's because it's more work for us to do if you do a 3-payment plan. I've got to have a staff member to do the accounting, call people whose credit cards are expired or whose credit cards don't clear on the second or third payment, and it just creates work for us. So if you want to make us do that work, we will do it, but you'll pay a little bit more for that privilege. So you can do a single payment of $1,497. I'd prefer that because it's simpler for our office, but if you can't do that, then we can do the 3-payment for you, 3 payments of $597. There's live training available when you register now. As we've gone over, I want to be able to plan our staffing and make sure we're there, able to meet our commitment. I don't want a bunch of late signer-uppers causing problems with that. So live training when you register now. You're going to get 12 pre-recorded training videos already up and accessible on the website, which means that when you register now, you can go look at training videos right now. So 5 minutes from now, you could be doing your first training. Plus, we give you a quick start guide for each step. So we're going to give you a quick start guide that shows you exactly what to do and sort of the thumbnail version so you can get started. We're going to show you the best states, and we'll show you all the rules to follow. We're going to give you all the legal forms, the scripts, and the resources that you need. Legal forms being things you'd have to pay an attorney thousands of dollars a draft that are already there, in place for you. They're ready to go. They're tested. They're proven. They've been used for years. They have everything you need. We're going to give you the call scripts so that whether you or your virtual assistant is making the calls and talking to folks, you'll know exactly what to say because you follow a proven formula. And you'll get all the other resources you need, all of our legal research that we did in all 50 states, and we continue to do. I actually have 2 attorneys that work for me on a part-time basis where they're constantly just researching states, researching issues that come up in our business, and frankly, issues that you guys bring up. We're not offering a formal service of guaranteeing we'll research everything you have, but as people submit questions and we don't know the answers, I make the judgment call, and if it's something I think we should research, we go research it at our expense. Again, I don't want to make a guarantee that I'm researching every question you come up with, but we do constantly research. These 2 guys work for me every week doing research, so we're making sure we're staying on the cutting edge of things and making sure that as things change that we're keeping up with it. The training is online. Starts as soon as you register. So when you register, you get user ID and password, regardless of whether you telephone us or whether you order on the internet. You'll get the online training as soon as you register. And you're going to get it by going to the website or calling the phone number on the screen. Go to either one, go to the web or telephone or toll-free number, and our folks will get you signed up and registered. If you have questions, they'll answer it, and you can get rolling, and you can get rolling right now. Now, the next thing I'm going to do, it's going to make your mouth water. It may make you wish you'd gotten involved with this a little bit sooner, known a little bit sooner, but I want to show you something. Check this out. That video that you see going across the screen, that, my friend, is checks that other students have gotten before you. These are checks that other people using the system have gotten. Now, that's the total overage check you're seeing. So the students collect anywhere from 30 to 50% of it. I've been using 30% throughout this webinar because that's sort of a lowest on the low side. But more typically, people charge 40% and sometimes as much as 50%. And it's up to you. It's a free country. You can charge as much or as little as you want. Often people adjust it. You know, if it's a very big overage, they might charge a little bit less as a percentage. If it's a small overage, they charge more as a percentage. But it's up to you. Because we'll show you the states where there's no regulation or control over how much you can charge. You just charge what you want to charge. All of those checks. So we have piles of these things. And I wish some of that pile were your check. But I know the way that you're going to get that check is by getting involved with the system. That's how you're going to get that check. So to get started now, go with 1 payment of $14.97 or 3 payments of $5.97. All you have to do is go to the website or call the number. Either one. Go to the website or call the number. Again, 1 payment of $14.97 or 3 payments of $5.97, and this system can be yours for life. Remember, it only takes 1 small overage to pay for the whole thing, but when you get the system, it's yours for life. You have a lifetime business that you can continue doing. So this is your opportunity to join me in helping these folks get the money that's owed to them. Help these folks like Evelyn Carlisle, Kenneth Kerr, all these people that we see on here. Help them get the money that's owed to them and start collecting these big finder's fees. And work with these folks and get $112,000. Work with these folks and get $274,000, $250,000 essentially in your bank. Work with these folks with us and help right this wrong. Because make no mistake, this is an absolute wrong. This should not be happening. But it is happening, and nothing's going to change until you do something about it. As Albert Einstein famously said, nothing changes until something moves. And the movement you need to make right now is go onto the website, get involved, get registered, and come and do this with us. Or pick up the phone and call our office and get registered and get started. You can get started right now. Literally, when you register, you get your user ID and password. You can log on, get on our online training, and you'll be getting your list, in an hour once you learn how to do that. It's really that simple. It's not hard. It's not difficult. This is just something, a wrong that needs to be righted, and a huge opportunity for you. So if you've ever had a dream about having a business that you can make good money with, you can do great good with, then this is the perfect business opportunity for you. The opportunity is the best one in business is ones where we're serving other people and helping them and righting a wrong, but we're also making good money ourselves because, unless you're independently wealthy, you can't be a one-man or woman charity, right? We need both. So we're going to be serving people and helping them get money they'd never otherwise see, and we're going to be helping ourselves give ourselves and our family the life that we deserve. And if you want to do that, if you want to give your family and yourself the life you deserve financially, and you want to do good, then this is the perfect opportunity for you. So I look forward to seeing you on training on Monday. Training will be recorded, so if for any reason you can't make it, then you can listen to the recording. Your entrance fee is $1,497 in one payment, or you can do 3 payments of $597. Remember, first payment of $597 is paid when you order. You do get full access to the course. We don't withhold anything. You get full access to the course. And then another payment of $597 30 days later, another payment 30 days after that. This is truly an amazing business. I'm sure that you've never seen anything like this, right? Of course you haven't. It's a great opportunity. It's something that anyone can do. And all that you need to do is essentially learn the materials, roll up your shirt sleeves, do some modest effort, and you can make some money. So join me. I will see you on Monday. So what I want you to do right now is go to the website or telephone the office and get started. So this is Bob Diamond on behalf of myself and all the folks here at the office, Christine and Ashley and Mike and Michelle and Ed and Rick. We appreciate you. We're glad that you came, and we really look forward to working with you and helping you to be successful in this amazing business, which not only is going to enrich your bank account, it's going to help a whole lot of deserving people who've really been kicked. So thanks for coming, and I will see you Monday, and I'll personally answer your questions, and we'll get you started.